This is piles of fence used to build the border wall, but we're nowhere near the border. This is actually a government surplus auction site in Pinal County, and we've seen trucks coming, picking up this border wall and taking it away. On the GovPlanet website, the starting bid was listed at $5. The listings caused an uproar online, people wondering why it was being sold. This auction has since been taken down, but recent auctions already went through. And here in Pinal County, we witnessed multiple trucks pulling away pieces of the wall. Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Del Cueto says agents are angry and it's a waste of government resources.
Yeah, all of it pretty much can be utilized. They could put footing down, pick it back up and use it. Instead, what are they doing? They're auctioning it off. And now when you have to, start with the new administration wanting to rebuild it, what are we going to have to do? We're going to use more taxpayer-funded money, which is insane to me.
The Department of Defense responded to our question.
Insane. That's a good word. Insane. And a price of $5 for a slab, right? Like when you go get some ribs on the south side of Chicago, a slab. $5, y'all. Online auction, courtesy of Joe Biden. Did you ever think that you would see a day? Does it go under the guidelines of mismanagement? What does it say about a government that can, just before the new administration goes in, can actually do a Houdini out of one circumstance and use a magician's trick and go into something else? I said in a video last week that Joe Biden has no respect. I mean, let's just take Trump out of the scenario. He has no respect for taxpayers. The money has been spent, right? The labor, the production of it, to get it out there. Now you're going to spend more money to pick it up. Just the logistics, right? The logistics. Pick it up, take it to a destination, then hire some people and you auction it off, and you make no money off of it. When I saw this story the other day, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything. I'm like, you know what? It's getting under my skin. It's getting under my skin. On one hand, he goes and pardons 1,500 people, which I'm sure a majority of them should have been pardoned. But then you have some questionable people. I don't have no problem in pardoning people who, got cannabis. I mean, come on now. Spent 10, 15, 20 years in jail for snorting something. Come on. But now, I mean, what can we take away from this as a taxpayer? And I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or you don't get involved in politics at all. What does this say to you in terms of your money, especially in times like this, when we're funding all these wars, right? We're giving money to all these illegals. You know the drill. And now you take something that's already paid for. I guess this is Joe Biden's art of the deal. Come on, man. If this is the art of the deal, he should not be able to sell one copy. Anybody who's jocking this dude, don't even think about buying a book that he might write or going to any of his public speaking engagements. I don't care what it is, just don't go. We need to be in protest to this dude until the day he just go totally senile. That's my take on it. Because this is the ultimate disrespect. I mean, let me go to the next video, because I'm about to get off track. Oh.
President Biden's trying to pull a fast one on the incoming Trump administration with a border wall fire sale. He's scrambling to auction off thousands of unused sections for scrap metal prices. That's right, these wall parts, bought with your tax dollars, have been collecting dust in the desert ever since Biden declared he wouldn't build another foot of wall. And now, Joe's practically giving them away, with opening bids as low as $5 for 20 tons of steel bollards on a website littered with listings. I bet Hunter's already speed dialing a Ukrainian buyer for the old man. Thankfully, Joe's days of sabotage at the border are almost over. Tom Homan says he'll put an end to the fire sale.
After the inauguration, we're going to stop it. But it's shocking to me that, and I saw several articles today and actually an ad, they're selling these things pennies on the dollar of what the taxpayers paid for. Yeah. So again, here's an example of them just trying to put us in a bad position and not have that equipment available to us.
Speaking of Homan.
And that's it. To put Trump in a bad position. But like I said, take Trump out the equation. It puts us in a bad position. We're talking about the 12 or 1,500 illegals that came over that were in prison. And God only knows the other ones, what they... I have never in my life, and I've seen some bad managers. In my day, I have seen some bad managers. This dude here, I have lost all respect for. Don't get it twisted, media. Don't come knocking at my door, authorities. I said I have lost all respect for him, and you should too. I mean, it's already paid for. It's been sitting there. And you, look, if you had to take a jury of your peers and ask them one fundamental question, that would be, why now? Joe, it's December. You should be preparing for Santa Claus. I mean, last year, you and Jill had your little holiday festivities, right? That little crazy, bizarre jingle bell thing y'all had in the White House that I did a decode on. Y'all couldn't do a second one of them? Instead, you're going to order, 15, 20 elf hats, put them on some truckers, have them go out there and pick up some strange cargo. Just before, I had to pause because I'm thinking about this real hard. It should be just easy. It's hard to wrap your mind around this, people. How obvious can it be? Just before Trump gets into office, I'm a sore loser, and I'm not going to tell him to his face. I let him come out there to the White House. I shook his hand. I looked all cordial. I'm playing the game. But I'm gonna really, folks out there Christmas shopping, they'll never notice it. Joe, guess what? Fox News figured it out. And so did everybody else. Gross misconduct of your position as president. How about that as a thumbnail? Gross misconduct and gross disrespect to us in terms of how to handle money. It's obviously you're a sore loser, Joe. And you know that the border is gotta be in the top 3 of what Trump has railed against. Economy, border, what's the other? I mean, and war. Come on. So you're gonna allegedly sabotage the war too? You already messed up the economy. Let me go on, y'all. I tell you. Let me go.
It looks like Joe Biden, and this is just flat out evil, is selling off pieces of the border wall that we paid for as taxpayers that's been waiting there for 4 years for Donald Trump to come back. This is true. We're seeing it on flatbeds. How serious is this?
I mean, it appears to be pretty serious. What we are hearing from people who are on the border, members of Border Patrol, the trucking company has been taking away these pieces of the border wall. And then apparently these pieces of the border wall are being auctioned off by a government auction house called GovPlanet for something like $5 is the starting bid for a piece of the border wall. This is insane. And obviously there's only one reason that you would do this, and it's to get rid of the scrap material before Donald Trump can actually implement his plans. You'd be hard-pressed to explain why else this is happening at this late date. If it were just that the materials had become defunct in some way, you would imagine that we wouldn't be waiting until a couple of weeks before Donald Trump takes office to auction them off. We would have started selling them off before they lost all of their value. The fact that all this...
Thank you. Before they lost all their value. You know, I got a novel idea. Why don't we just why don't we just get Elon, since he's the richest man in the world? Why don't we call up Elon? And who else been running around with Trump lately? We got Zuckerberg coming out to Mar-a-Lago. Who else we got? The guy from Amazon, what's his name? Bezos. Got Bezos in the house. Why don't they have a huddle and beat Joe at his own game? Get these truckers to take this stuff to the White House, and we need to fence Joe in. He can still be president. How about that? Why don't we look? Why don't we just have a huddle? Come on now, work with me. Work with me. Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, and Elon. They got enough money, right? Look. Have all the truckers, pay them a handsome salary, give them union, give them lunch, 8-hour days, no overtime, just straight up, so we can employ more truckers, get them out there, and then build a fence around the White House so Joe can't get out. I think that's a novel idea. He want to be president? You can stay. You just stay on up in there, do what you want to do. No press coverage. We buy you a couple of Monopoly games, Game of Thrones. Whatever y'all want to do. Show him some reruns when he was senator. Make him feel at home. I think that's what we should do. Just play into the game. Ain't no sense of being frustrated no more. Just beat him at his own game. Oh, I wish I had Elon's number. Somebody got Elon's number. Here's the next one here. Oh, my eyes hurt. But I gotta let y'all hear this. He ain't never won it in the first place. Let's do him old school.
The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to redirect that money. They didn't, they wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what is appropriate. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to redirect that money. They didn't, they wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what is appropriate. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
So he doesn't believe the border wall works. So he don't believe it works. So I guess in his mind, because if he has some consultation on this one, this should be a 2-hour video. Let's just say, for argument's sake, this was his idea alone. Just him. Not his wife, not his son, not the Secretary of State, not, what's his name, Mayorkas, not Bugs Bunny, not Mickey Mouse, right? Nobody. Not Elmer Fudd, nobody. Just Joe. And he said, man, you know what? I cannot stop this money from being utilized for the wall. But what I can do is once the materials are there, I can do Afghanistan #2 with a twist. Oh, did I get him? Did I get him? I said, did I get him? Afghanistan #2 with a twist. Are you kidding me? That's what he just did. And look, people, how many days we left? We got 15. We got 35. We got 35 days left until Trump steps up in there. I want you to wrap your mind around this. 35 days. Do you know how much damage can be done? That is, how many deliveries can be made in 35 days? Baby, that's a lot of money. We are victims. This dude cannot go down in history on nobody's history book as being somebody who should be honorable or credited with running the business part. Because he's failed. He's failed miserably. Everything he touches when it comes to economics is a failure. He's a failure. That's why I call him the Destroyer, 46. He's a destroyer. Now let's look at some money, right? Let's look at some money. Here we go. This is all the way from October 27, 2020. Records show Trump's border wall is costing taxpayers billions more than initial contracts. And don't be startled, people, that does happen in business. I mean, look, it was something new, okay? Not to justify, just something new. As the presidential election nears, it says, a review of federal spending data found modifications to contracts have increased the price of the border wall by billions, costing about 5 times more per mile than it did under previous administrations. Now, people, let's keep this in perspective, okay? I really want you to keep this in perspective. And I'm not justifying anything in terms of what Trump is doing. You know good and well, since 2020, everything has gone up. Everything has gone up. Everything you touch, everything you look at. If you're smoking, it costs more. If you're drinking, it costs more. If you're getting high, you're getting high more because you're so messed up in the head because the cost is messing you up. You're depressed. So I'm not surprised that the initial bid went up. I'm not surprised. And neither should you. Because Papa Joe, like I said, I don't call it Bidenomics. That's witchnomics. Somebody put in the comment section. That's witch. We've been bewitchnomics. Bewitched, straight up. So costs went up. This article is co-published by ProPublica, a non-profit news room that investigates abuse of power. Signed up for ProPublica. Okay. On the same day in May 2019, the Army Corps of Engineers awarded a pair of contracts worth $788 million to replace 83 miles of fence along the southwest border. Okay, so it was agreed back in May of 2019. The projects were slated to be completed in January 2020. The Corps said then, 4 months into this year, however, the government increased the value of the contracts by more than $1 billion without the benefit of competitive bidding designed to keep costs low for taxpayers. Now that's a good find. They should have had competing, keep the money down for us. Within a year, the initial award, the value of the 2 contracts had more than tripled to over $3 billion. This makes it even more, this makes me even madder. It should make you even more mad. Even though the length of the fence the companies were building had only grown by 62% to 135 miles. The money is coming from military counter-narcotic funding. People, I am so done. We can't spend it right. We move it out. And what do you think? Do you think Trump gonna then go and get the stuff and come back? This is insane. This is insane. Those contract spikes were dramatic, but not isolated. People, y'all know the history of government contracts. I say y'all know the history of contracts. I'm not gonna finish reading it. Y'all know allegedly this stuff has always been exploited. But the country has been for sale for a long time. I don't get it. I don't get it how the money appropriated by Congress, there should be some, I don't know how it is, but you would think there'll be some stipulation and obligation. Once the money is issued, you have to have in the contract several bids. And it should be a firm price. You would think. I've had friends in retail where they tell me that, and put in the comment section if you work in retail, many of the big ones, the real big ones, they have stuff purchased a year plus in advance, and the cost is locked in. Only other cost I think is not locked in is transportation. It's been a long time since I talked to people in the retail, but these costs are usually locked in. So I don't know why this thing was abused, but all I know is what I see right now. That this man sitting in this chair right now has no respect for us. He has no respect for the administration. He has no respect for the voice that was placed on November 5th to go in another direction. And it's criminal. It is criminal to now have less than 2 months, and now you go after something which you know is near and dear, not only to Donald Trump, but to us as taxpayers and citizens who voted. A lot of us voted because they wanted the wall. There's a cost attached to having immigrants come over, whether it's health care or giving them free food or shelter. Come on, man. So now what you do, you delay. It's part of the 5 Ds. Something I predicted, right? I've been saying it. Delay, deny, debate, derail, then destroy. His goal is to destroy any and everything Donald Trump and what we want, at the sake of really destroying our country. That's how deep this thing go with me. See, we on the tail end, not of greatness. We on the tail end of slipping and not getting back up. And this guy here alone, there are no words. I can imagine y'all putting some words in the comment section, but you know what I'm trying to say. There are no words for this. This is not how you change over administration. I cannot remember in my lifetime where a president overtly stabbed the other one in the back and made it so bad that when Trump gets a hold of the ship, he just locks the throttle so you can't move it. And the ship just going down. And whatever direction the wind blow, that's where the ship gonna go, on these raging seas that he has put us in. People, I don't know about you, this is criminal. This is criminal activity. I think I got to drill down to that level that this is criminal activity, because the bottom line is, I mean, you can argue this in court, that if you have, let's say for benefit of doubt, the first 3 months Trump gets up in there, and we find out that X amount of immigrants are doing some real bad things to America. And then a year from now, we get some more. Who's to say that the more that came in weren't in relation to him sending these border things back, sending the actual edifice back, and then we didn't get it under control? In other words, he puts the country in jeopardy. That's what he does. He puts the country in jeopardy. That's criminal. That's against what he, look, it's not, people, hear me. It's not even about ideology, whether he agrees with Trump or not. They both have to agree to protect us, right? Think about all the major, quote unquote, enemies that people believe that we have. I can't name all the names, but you know who they are. You know who the big guys are. And Trump got relations with them, because he made sure we wasn't in no wars under those major guys. You know who they are. I can't say their names, I might get in trouble. But here's the thing. Do you think they're tolerating this kind of foolishness? They're not. And I know they don't have elections, but man, come on, man. This is not beneficial. Again, it don't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. And it's not even about the cost to a certain extent anymore. It's about the possibility of letting in the wrong people and blowing city, county, and state economic budgets. Okay? Okay. Oh, my God. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.